Imagine your savings as a fortress, strong, secure, a place where your financial future is protected. But there's an invisible force quietly undermining this security, a thief that doesn't steal your money but robs its value. This thief is inflation. Most of us know it simply as rising prices, but its impact goes much deeper, particularly affecting how much your savings will be worth in the future. Today, we peel back the layers of this elusive adversary to understand how it works, why it matters, and what you can do to shield your finances from its silent encroachment. Number 1. Understanding inflation. Inflation is fundamentally about prices rising across the board, not just for a few items, but for a wide array of goods and services. This increase isn't random. It's tied directly to the core economic principle of supply and demand. When demand for products outstrips supply, prices naturally rise. Conversely, too much money chasing too few goods can also trigger inflation, which is why central banks play a crucial role in managing the money supply. Voiceover: central banks, like the Federal Reserve in the United States, control how much money is in the economy. They adjust interest rates and use other tools to keep inflation at a stable rate, ideally where it neither spikes into hyperinflation nor falls into deflation. But why do we need inflation at all? Moderate inflation is a sign of a healthy, growing economy. It encourages spending and investment today, rather than hoarding money, thus fueling economic growth. Without it, economies risk falling into deflation, where prices drop, spending slows, businesses stagnate, and economic activity freezes. So, while inflation can be a challenge, it's also necessary. The key is balance, ensuring it stays within limits that keep the economy vibrant without eroding the purchasing power of the currency too rapidly. Number 2. The personal impact. While inflation is a broad economic concept, its effects are deeply personal. Every trip to the grocery store can become a silent testimony to inflation's impact, as families like the one we see here notice that their dollar doesn't stretch as far as it used to. While inflation has steadily climbed, wage increases have struggled to keep pace. For many households, this means not just adjusting budgets, but making tough choices about what essentials to buy and what to forego. The erosion of purchasing power isn't just about paying more for the same items. It's about the gradual reduction in the quality and quantity of life's necessities. When incomes do not increase at the same rate as prices, families can feel the squeeze acutely. Back at home, the challenge continues. Budgeting becomes an essential tool. Families find themselves cutting back on not only luxuries but also basics, from groceries to healthcare, which can lead to further consequences like nutritional deficiencies and stress. Fortunately, communities often band together to provide resources and support. Local workshops and financial advisories are vital in helping individuals and families navigate these turbulent economic waters and safeguard their financial health against the tide of inflation. Number 3. Effects on savings. Saving money is often seen as a pathway to financial security, a way to prepare for the future. But when inflation enters the picture, the real value of those saved dollars diminishes over time. What you could buy with $10,000 today might cost you much more in 10 years. This erosion of purchasing power means that without proper planning, your savings might not cover the expenses you're anticipating in the future. This graph demonstrates how even moderate inflation rates can significantly impact your savings. It's not just about the face value of money, but about what it can actually buy you as years pass. People often forget that saving money in a regular bank account where interest doesn't outpace inflation is akin to letting money leak away slowly. To truly safeguard your financial future, investments that grow at or above the rate of inflation are crucial. Tools like Treasury inflation-protected securities, or TIPS, and diversified portfolios can help protect against these losses. For families like this one, understanding and adapting to the reality of inflation is key to maintaining financial health. By choosing the right investment vehicles, they can ensure that their savings not only retain but potentially increase their purchasing power over time. Number 4. Strategic defenses against inflation. As we've seen, inflation can silently erode the value of your savings. However, there are strategies you can employ to protect and even enhance your financial health. Diversifying your investments is key. Let's explore some effective ways to defend your portfolio against inflation. One direct method to combat inflation is through Treasury inflation-protected securities, or TIPS. These government bonds adjust their principal based on changes in the consumer price index. As inflation rises, so does the principal value of TIPS, which means they offer a real rate of return that is secure from inflationary pressures. Diversification is another crucial strategy. By spreading investments across different asset classes, you reduce risk and increase the chances of your portfolio outpacing inflation. Stocks often perform well during inflationary times as companies can raise prices to offset higher costs, potentially leading to higher profits and thus higher stock prices. Real estate and commodities such as gold and oil can also serve as hedges against inflation. Real estate properties typically increase in value and can generate rental income that adjusts with inflation. Commodities, which are raw materials, tend to rise in price as the cost of goods increases. Implementing these strategies requires careful planning and consultation with financial experts. Tailoring your investment approach to your personal financial goals and risk tolerance can help ensure that your savings not only withstand inflation but grow over time. Number 5. Historical perspective. To fully grasp the severe impact of runaway inflation, let's look at two striking case studies: Zimbabwe in the 2000s and Argentina in the early 2000s. These examples of hyperinflation show how quickly and drastically it can decimate economies and affect daily life. In Zimbabwe, hyperinflation reached an almost unimaginable height, with an annual rate estimated at 89.7 sextillion%. The rapid price increases began in the late 1990s due to a combination of poor economic policies, political instability, and an unchecked printing of money. This led to a situation where prices doubled almost daily, rendering the Zimbabwean dollar useless and pushing many into barter economies for survival. In Argentina, the government's attempt to curb inflation through strict monetary policies and currency pegging ultimately led to a widespread economic crisis in 2001. Banks froze accounts and currency devaluation led to riots and political upheaval. The nation's recovery required restructuring debt, floating the currency, and significant fiscal reforms. These historical examples of Zimbabwe and Argentina teach us critical lessons about the dangers of hyperinflation and the importance of sound economic management. They also highlight the resilience of nations to overcome severe economic disruptions and rebuild for a more stable future. Number 6. Preparing for the future. Looking ahead, predicting the exact course of inflation involves complex variables, from geopolitical tensions and global pandemics to shifts in energy prices and technological advancements. Yet, understanding potential trends is crucial for preparing and protecting our financial future. Economists often model scenarios where inflation remains under control through judicious monetary policies, resulting in stable economic growth. In contrast, other scenarios might show inflation spiking due to excessive government spending or supply chain disruptions, reminiscent of the 1970s stagflation in the United States. These forecasts help us visualize the potential impact on our savings and investments. For instance, if inflation were to average above 3% per year, the purchasing power of your savings could decline significantly, requiring more aggressive investment strategies to maintain your financial health. Being proactive is key. Regularly consulting with financial advisors, staying informed about global economic trends, and adjusting your financial plans can help safeguard your assets against inflationary pressures. Tools like inflation calculators, investment diversification, and continuous financial education are essential components of a robust financial strategy. While the future may be uncertain, equipping ourselves with knowledge and the right tools can empower us to face whatever economic conditions may arise, ensuring our financial security and prosperity.